What is going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have the LG G8 ThinQ. Probably wondering, what is this phone here? It was released in 2019. It was a flagship phone from LG. This one was unlocked here. Pretty much LG once upon a time made a lot of phones well before Android. I had flashbacks of the LG Chocolate, the LG Juke, and one of my first Android phones, I believe, was the LG Optimus. So LG had a lot of history when it comes to making devices. It's just unfortunately they weren't selling as much as Samsung and Motorola and all these other guys. So here we have the LG G8 ThinQ, and as you guys can see right off the rip, I wanted to show you flagship specs. This device had the Snapdragon 855 processor inside of it when it first came out. So this was pretty much a big deal at one point in time. To get things started, you had a 6.1-inch Full HD or 2K display. So it was 1440 by 3120 pixels. And the pixel density was 565 in this bad boy. So a really sharp screen. And look at the back of the phone here. You have a 16 megapixel wide cam or ultra wide, and it had the capability of shooting 4K video at 60 frames per second, 30 frames, had a bunch of different video modes. So this camera was really powerful as well. And then you're gonna have 6 gigs of RAM in this device, 128 gigs of internal storage. Battery was 3,500 milliamp hours, so that wasn't a big battery even back then. It usually did die pretty quick when I was using it often. And then as far as charging, you had, of course, USB Type-C, and it was 21 watt wire charging and 9 watt wireless charging. On the left side of the device is where you find your SIM tray slot, and I believe it was micro SD card. Expandable for more storage and everything. Your power button, and then on top of the device you had a microphone, and on the left side you had your volume up and down keys and a little cutout there. I'm not sure what that was for. I wonder if it was for like the speaker, because this device actually has a speaker somewhere up here, but it's not visible. You can see Type-C charging, speaker grill, and a headphone jack, but not just any headphone jack, a hi-fi jack. All right, so basically if you had some really good headphones, you can plug the headphones into this device, and the audio quality was supposed to be really good. Done talking about the actual physical aspect of the phone, let's get back into some more of the specs. So the display, as I told you, had 565 pixels per inch. It is or was a display that was POLED, and it was HDR10, and it had cornering Gorilla Glass 5. Now, out of the box, this device back then came with Android 9. Can you guys believe that? Android 9, which was Android Pie back then, and it was upgradable to Android 11, which this one has currently. This device wasn't the only version of it. There was multiple versions of it. So you had a triple camera setup one, and then you had a dual camera setup one. This one is the dual cam, obviously, 2 cams there. And you had a 12 megapixel standard cam and a 16 megapixel ultra wide. And then the front camera, I believe, was 8 megapixels. And you can shoot video at 4K, 60 frames per second on the rear, and I think it was 1080, 30, or 60 on the front. Now, you had a loudspeaker here. I believe this was dual speaker. I could be wrong, but I thought it was dual speaker. So one of the cool things about this device back in the day was that the fact it had Hand ID. Now, Hand ID was definitely something that was new at the time, and a lot of people didn't like it. I always thought it was cool, but it didn't catch on. And I saluted LG for, trying to be innovative and try something different, because everything was coming out and it was pretty much the same here. So basically, you just put your hand here and you can take your fingers and you can open up an app. That's pretty cool, right? A lot of people didn't like that back then. I don't know why. They said it was a little gimmicky, but I think it's pretty cool, Let me see if I can do it again here. There it is. Play some music. So music is playing currently. And I can take my fingers and put them right back here. Let me see. And then I can turn, it's reading the scan, and then I can turn the volume up. All right, cut it off now. No copyrights. So basically, that's how that feature worked. And you were able to unlock the phone like that too. Now, unlocking the phone was nothing that I really did a lot of with the Hand ID, because it didn't really make any sense to do it like that, because you got a fingerprint scanner on the rear, you had Face ID, you can use your code. So the unlocking aspect, I didn't use like pretty much at all. But looking at the camera app, as you guys can see, that's the standard cam, and then hitting this one, it will bring you to the wide cam. And then this is your video mode here. And if you guys hear it snoring in the back, that's my dog. He's asleep back there. And then you can see the resolution. You can click that. And on the top there, you see 60 frames per second, 4K, Ultra HD at 30 frames, Full HD, multiple Full HD options, as well as 60 frames there, 720p. So you had a lot of video options when it came to this device. So we get out of that. And then if you switch over to the front, well, there's me there. And you go into the settings, you can go into Full HD. And you can see that it's Full HD, HD on 2 different modes with different aspect ratios. So no Full HD 60. And one thing that I always admired about them too was the manual camera mode. And they also had the manual video mode. So this was always fire back then, because not too many devices was doing this back then, where you can actually adjust the settings for your video. And you can see literally it's picking up the audio right now. You can see that right there, and it's telling you the space you're going to use when it comes to making Full HD videos here, 17 megs a second. So I want to go over Geekbench real quick and show you guys that. So I did a test. Now this is back in May of 25. So this is way early on in the year. I was playing with the phone. That's the single core score. And that's 2025 here. Back then, nah, this thing would have been much more powerful than that. And the multi-core score, 2,857. So this is a 2.2 benchmark here, and this is pretty recent here. It's within the past 6 months or so, because usually when I do a Geekbench, I do a 2.2 as well, just to see where the phone is at currently. But let me pull up a YouTube video real quick to show you guys the quality. There's night mode on. I think I got night mode on. Hold on. A comfort view. There we go. Cut it off there. So now you guys can see the full glory. I'm not sure that's even translating on video, but man, in person, this screen is still sharp, man. Beautiful. Let's skip up a little bit. Look at that. That looks awesome. What's funny enough is I wonder if you can still buy the LG G8 to this day. Let's do some searching real quick. So LG G8 ThinQ. Let's put 2019 for sale on locked. Yeah, you can still get it right now. LG at one point in time was making some amazing smartphones. It's just that people didn't buy a lot of them. And it is what it is. You know, they don't make them anymore. But I seen something recently that came out about LG about how well they're doing and everything. And I was just thinking, like, man, if they had kept making phones, maybe they would have made a little bit more of an imprint. But Samsung and Apple just took it over. I'm surprised we even still got Motorola hanging around here. But I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. Leave a comment if you had the LG G8 ThinQ, or if you have an older flagship phone that you like to still use from time to time as well. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.